Sabrina Carpenter just graced the cover of Vogue Italia, and they interviewed her about her new album and her feelings about men, but also her feelings about America as an American being interviewed by a foreign publication. She felt obligated to put down fellow Americans.
It's her job.
Of course. And I was just actually talking with Brett about these stereotypes about women who say that they love traveling. And I'm like, why do people find that so odious? Like, it's not that, hard to understand that it's enjoyable to travel, right? Mm-hmm. You're going to a different place. It's interesting. And you eat food and you do whatever you want to do. It's fun. This probably explains it quite concisely. Sabrina Carpenter, on her love of travel and new perspectives. You learn more about life in a 20-minute conversation with someone from Italy than in 20 years in the US.
It's the definition of fake deep.
And when I saw that, I was just like, bitch.
Because one, it's false on the face, because she wasn't talking to any strangers in Italy.
Oh no,
she's a A-list celebrity.
Yeah.
No, what are we supposed to believe? She's like a foreign exchange student living in someone's house. Like one of the replies said, she went to Italy to pose and take 6,000 photos of herself, not to talk to strangers.
Right.
Celebrities on her level aren't having 20-minute conversations with any regular person anywhere.
Yeah.
Right.
Italy or America, doesn't matter.
Unless they're gonna, one day she might go on that pipeline of celebrities that end up with some type of travel show, or some get cooking shows, some get travel shows, where then she's not that person really. It tends to actually be mostly men that get these shows, where it's like
she did a Christmas special on Netflix. That was a big
so
deal.
it'll be like traveling Europe with Sabrina Carpenter, and she'll go talk to random business owners, but it is. It's like she doesn't understand just how big America is. Like every time she flies from New York to California and the flight takes forever.
Yeah, she should have said LA. She should have said more than you'll learn from a 20-minute conversation with someone in LA.
Yeah, it would have been like,
the average person that Sabrina Carpenter interacts with at Hollywood parties or whatever probably is insufferable, vapid, and boring. That doesn't exempt her from any of those labels either. But
not even true, though. You can still learn something from somebody who's stupid, vapid, and boring.
At least from their bad example. Like, you can learn from them in that way. But she hasn't talked to anyone outside of her social strata. She hasn't talked to anyone from the Midwest or the South. She probably would speak down to them if she had the chance. And I just found that very unpleasant for her to say that. And that's one reason why women who say that their hobby is traveling get so much flack. I'll admit they pretend that traveling makes them somehow more cultured and above the rest of us, and they understand things that most people wouldn't. And I've traveled to a lot of countries and I didn't learn a damn thing. So
nothing at all?
I mean, I guess I just learned the same from conversations wherever I am, but like,
don't drink the water in Mexico.
Yeah.
I mean, I had fun, but I wouldn't say that I like learned some sort of ancient wisdom from traveling.
Yeah, like I was in Africa for like 4 months, and I learned what I hate. I learned, I learned what I love about
lessons that you
I learned what I love about America. I didn't learn anything about life from people there. Are you kidding me? This place is like a dump. What am I going to learn?
Well, there is that like bit in the What Is a Woman documentary where he travels to Kenya, I believe. Maybe I'm wrong.
And he goes to this remote tribe.
Talks to this remote tribe and asks them about the gender roles that they exhibit in their society, and he uses that to contrast with the insanity of the West.
Yeah.
That's something, I mean, I guess some people could learn.
That like people that live in the bush have like traditional values.
Yeah, I guess.
Look, and I don't even need to take it that far. You can learn things when you travel to other countries, but that is not the implication here. The implication here is it's not that you learn things in other countries, it's that there's nothing to learn from living in America.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. I just don't think
take out all the bias you have about other... Oh, we got a 20 there.
Sorry, from Slavic McGoth. When I was agnostic before I was a pagan, I knew demons existed, and seeing everything the past month has pushed me to become closer with God, because how clear it is demons have taken over. I am honestly scared for the future. Well, I'm glad that you feel drawn to to build a relationship with God. Yeah. That's a good thing.
Take away whatever preconceived notions you have about other countries. Yes, you can go to Italy and learn things, I am sure, but to pretend like somebody who lives in Southern California can't go to the Bible Belt and learn something, can't go to any other state, go to North Dakota and learn something, go to the Midwest and learn something. The country is enormous.
It's funny.
And norms are different all over this country.
She draws upon all of those aesthetics. Like in her music video for Man-Child, she's literally on a road trip with all of the Americana aesthetic.
I mean, that's not her decision. That was literally made at the corporate level because Americana's in right now.
But I'm just saying they're willing to make money off of the aesthetic without actually showing any respect to the people who, actually inhabit that culture. And there are many cultures in this country.
Yeah, it's because they have this desire for authenticity that doesn't exist for them in a lived sense. So they have to go to places where there is like some level of authenticity, even if it's like, tacky or whatever. I mean, that's what drives like this narrative. It's like a rugged Americana and everything. It's just because they're like their situation, their environment is just completely it's completely void of any authenticity. And so
she's a self-hating American.
I mean, that's kind of case du jour for most of Hollywood, though. They embody that because they're from the coast. Coastal cities have a certain level of self-hatred, maybe not for themselves, but for where they come from, which feeds into that kind of, I guess it's an inferiority complex when they travel, right? Because they feel like they're being judged for being American, despite the fact that they should actually carry it with pride and be like, look, we are a net exporter of culture. We are a net exporter of, at least in her field, in entertainment. We are, people look to us, maybe not to the same level that it was 20 years ago. 30 years ago. Certainly the culture has like anime and manga are both very big in America now and have taken root here. So it's not to say that that's entirely that way. K-pop has made its way here and all of those things. But in general, what's the saying is like, as New York goes, so goes the world. As America goes, so goes the world in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I mean, I think like when you travel, you realize that pretty much every major city is kind of homogenizing around like Brooklyn chic, like this kind of vaguely American, more like super hyper consumer culture. And it's just like every city. I mean, I went to like Tokyo, London, Paris. I mean, the architecture is obviously still somewhat distinct, but generally like all the businesses are the same, people dress the same,
and
people's like interests are the same
now. Like culture feels very homogenized now.
And like if you leave the cities in these countries, you still get, but I think that's even coming to a close. Like I think we're just, as it stands now, just trudging forward to this like mass homogenization of culture into this kind of general American, a vaguely American like slop consumer culture.
We have another
H&M
20 from Weary Traveler. She thinks there's nothing to learn from Americans because she goes from one coastal elite state to another. She will never speak to someone from Tennessee or Ohio who has completely different worldview than her.
Yep.
Yeah, and like when you see these celebrities that do visit the interior of the country, they always present them, like they position themselves as like spiritually enlightened, and they're able to like perceive truth from like the desolation that they're like documenting. Like they always do this. Say it's like a Waffle House sign. They're like, isn't that cute? Because they're talking down. They're talking like they're enlightened, and they're able to like perceive this like this nice little truth. But they're immune from the consequences of like actually living in these places, which is often like economic hardship, these sorts of things. And they never visit like Cincinnati, where it's like fine. They're always visiting like a Waffle House or something.
But that's kind of speaking of Waffle House, what I love about Lana Del Rey is that she's never spoken down to anyone in the South or the Midwest, and she's drawn aesthetically and artistically upon all of these different regions and cities. Now she lives currently in the Bayou with her husband and is actually walking the walk. On another note, in this interview, they addressed Sabrina Carpenter's somewhat conflicting feelings toward the opposite sex. About men, she says, "I think they're a really fun species to watch in both a good and bad way." You're not watching them, you are allowing them to penetrate you. But she continued.
She's like a National Geographic.
to differentiate between the positive and negative experiences she has had with men, some of whom she might classify as man-children, I feel really adored, inspired, and loved by some men, and really confused, attacked, and ridiculed by others. When one of my friends announces she's having a son, I rejoice for that child because I know he'll be raised right. Meaning all of my friends are feminists and are going to indoctrinate their sons to hate themselves.
He will have absolutely no backbone. He will not stand up for himself, and he will defer to every woman that comes into his life.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I've only been on Earth for 26 years, but I feel like we've always kind of had to train men. Unfortunately, it's a tale as old as time. Train men, which is sort of a jab at her ex-boyfriend, Barry Keoghan.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that the man-child label was directed at him.
Does she, this may seem like a weird question. Do you know what her relationship is like with her family? Is she close to her parents? Does she have a good relationship with her father?
She says that her parents and that her family generally are supportive of her career, and she was asked about her family's thoughts on the Man's Best Friend album cover, and they liked it, according to her. So, and of course she has stage parents because she started as a child actress. So they put her into Disney.
Yeah, and I think a lot of these families, when like they're, especially with the female artists, when they like blow up or whatever, and they end up like super sexualized, they're always too afraid to make like a public declaration that they're against this, because then their daughter would just cut them off forever.
Well, remember when Sammy Sheen joined OnlyFans and Charlie Sheen's like, I don't think that's a great idea, and everybody's like, hey, piece of shit, what do you mean it's not a good idea for your daughter to sell pictures of herself naked? And he's like, okay, fine, you know, I guess I didn't understand it.
It's funny because Charlie Sheen, at first, he wanted to be supportive, and then he just said, you know, keep it classy, which means
no, that was, I think it was the other way around.
Buck naked.
I think it was both. I think he started off not in support, and then he got a bunch of backlash, and he's like, okay, never mind, I was wrong. And now he's kind of come back around to like, this is not the greatest idea.
Maybe it was the other way around, but yeah, I just can't take this seriously. Like, do you really think you're that interesting?
Is this the same kind of notion you have of like the house that says like when the queen is happy, there's peace in the kingdom?
The
happy wife, happy life.
Yeah, you probably can buy a placard from Home Goods that says when the queen is happy, the kingdom is at peace, and put that over your kitchen.
See, but the thing is, there was a time period before like the fourth wave feminism, or really like the late stage of third wave feminism, where that was a more innocuous and less controversial statement, because it was at a time when gender roles were still pretty specific in this country, where that idea of the woman who at that time when those phrases became popular still took care of the home and was not working, you know, didn't have a job, but took care of everything going on at home. The husband went to work, and there was very specific gender roles that brought the family together and made it a functional family unit. And the man's deferring to her in those ideas was less consequential, because it was like, I know my roles, you know your roles, and it was just something that you said. Now, it is not held in the same regard. And it's more of a sign of, you know, men who don't have the ability to lead their family kind of giving in to what feminism has created for whatever their facsimile of a traditional family is.
Yeah, I think the happy wife, happy life phrase used to have a more charitable interpretation.
That's what I mean, yes.
Basically a different way of saying pick your battles.
Yes, absolutely.
Now it just means voluntarily longhousing yourself.
Yeah, now it just means
it's like, oh, she wants to sell pictures on OnlyFans. You should just let her do that, because happy wife. Happy
exactly.
Life. Yeah.
When in reality, it's like, if you have a happy life, you're probably gonna have a happy wife.
Yeah, real.
It can go the other way around, actually.
Now it's like she wants to like paint your kids' nails, and you just have to be okay with that. Yeah. Like, oh, happy life! I just want to drink beer and watch football. Meanwhile, your wife is transing your kid.
Right.
That's like literally that's the presentation that I'm seeing a lot with the happy, the long, as you're getting longhouse.
And again, she says like we have to train the men in our lives, but men run her existence, meaning that the album covers
She is-
photographers, the music producers, the record label producers, the record label owners.
But I also mean her personal life when I say men run
What
her
she
life.
talks about.
She's obsessed with men.
Yeah.
Clearly. And I will stand by my original take on her album cover. She's just not that bright. And I wouldn't just say that about someone I dislike. Taylor Swift is someone I kind of dislike, and I think she's actually really smart. Sabrina Carpenter is just not all the way, like, no one's upstairs. She's just not that bright.